Wow. Hello and welcome back to the garage and the currently little troublesome Ferrari 308. So in the last video we had gone through the ignition, making sure that there was power coming through the leads to the plugs, making sure there was spark at the plugs, which there was. We found that the plugs themselves were pretty sooted. Now I had been running the standard number 7s, but I had been gapping them smaller than the manual. Now I've actually bought a set of 6 numbered plugs, so we're going to be fitting those, and I'm going to gap them correctly as they should be, which I'm hoping with the hotter running plug they won't become as sooted and therefore should overcome my cold start issue. So we'd also been through the fuel lines as well. The pipe that came from the tank to the fuel filter was very short, too short, and it actually had a kink in it, which could have been restricting a fuel flow. We stripped down the fuel filter, found it to be very, very clean indeed, but have just given the casing a spruce up. Behind there, the fuel pump, that's the original one that I'd stripped down, cleaned up and refitted, and we've tested, and that's working beautifully. We also found that the breather hose that came from the fuel neck, filler neck, into the top of the tanks also had a kink in it as well. So I have got a length of new pipe to fit there. It's not the original manufacturer, but it should do for now. And whilst looking at the fuel filtering system, obviously we've got our fuel filter in here, which we did take apart. There's also a filter of sorts in the pump as well that actually looked very, very clean. We also have a further 4. So in here, we've got 1 filter or strainer for each carburettor. So there's 4 there. So I was going to take those out and have a look to see what the condition of those is. But before I start on the carburetors, I do have to say just a quick thank you to Callum McDonald, 8458, for reaching out. Apparently he had a similar intermittent issue that he couldn't trace, and it turned out for him that it was another fuel filter or fuel strainer, one that I didn't know about. It's actually located in the fuel tank itself. So apparently it had broken down, and then just pieces of it were just blocking the flow of the fuel into the pipe. So I think that is a good place to start. Now, to be able to do that, I'm going to have to dismantle all of this again. I'm going to have to make sure that the tanks are fully drained, and then I can undo this nut here, which removes the pipe that's got this internal filter or sock connected to it. So before I try and do that, which is going to be quite a task, I'm going to have a quick look inside the tank with this illuminated probe. And let's have a look and see what we can see. Now, to be honest, that looks a lot cleaner than I was expecting. That is actually very clean. And I can see the sock at the bottom there. That all looks intact. Looks quite long. But that's very good news indeed. So after seeing just how clean that tank is, I am inclined to leave it alone and take the car for the test drive and see if all these other bits and pieces we've done has actually overcome all those issues. I don't really want to take that out because obviously there's a chance I can damage the tank, but not only that, is what is essentially a nut with a bit of pipe through it that connects the rubber pipework that you could see that's got the strainer on the end of it. The replacement part from Ferrari is £360, and for what it is, that's just crazy money. So fingers crossed that I don't need to do that. So I just started installing the new pipe onto the breather pipe onto the fuel filler neck, and realised that actually if I spun the whole neck around slightly, that I believe the original pipe wouldn't be too short. So instead of coming around this overflow, it should, I think, go behind it, in which case it would be correct. So with that in mind, I put a bit of heat onto the original pipe and managed to get rid of that kink, or the majority of it. So I'm actually going to refit this original piece of pipework back in there because I think now I've rotated it, the length of this will be fine, and we won't have that issue of the kink reappearing. So at the end of the last video, we were getting some fabulous fuel flow coming through here. Now I've got all the pipework reconnected to the fuel tank now, rather than that temporary supply from the jerry can. So I'm just going to see if that fuel flow still is as good as it was. Let's give it a go. So pump is on and running. Yeah, we're still getting some fabulous flow through there. Yeah, I mean, look at that. That took no time at all to fill up. Really pleased with that. So we've now got the new plugs fitted in, gap down to 0.4 millimeters and correctly torqued up to 2 kilogram meters, which I think is 14.4 foot-pounds. I'm also running a K&N filter on here as well, so periodically these do have to be cleaned up and re-oiled, which I have now done, so this can go back into the car with the airbox. So I guess all that's left now is to have a quick tidy up, and let's see if, first of all, the car starts, the cold start issue, and if it does, we can get it back on its wheels and take it out for a test drive to see if that intermittent fault reappears or if I finally overcome it. Before I start the car up, I just want to check the fans, because the last time I went out I was sitting in some traffic and neither one kicked in. Now, a couple of videos ago I rebuilt them and checked them and they were working absolutely fine. Now, the thermostat switch is on the bottom of the radiator over here. I did put some new connectors on them and I've got to say that they weren't the best, so that could be the issue. For now, I've just put a jumper cable around and I'm just going to put the ignition on and just see if the fans kick in. Right, so ignition on, and I'm not getting the sound of those fans at all. So I've been back through the wiring at this end of the car. Obviously, I've previously jumped across the thermostat switches on the bottom of the radiator. I have checked the earth on the side of that switch, and that is fine. I put a power jump from the battery straight to the positive side on the fans, and they're both working fine, which means the fans are okay and the earth on those sides are okay, which can only mean that the issue probably lies within this spaghetti wiring inside the car, relays or fuses. And as you can see, trying to read the wiring diagram is no easy task either. So I tried to make a CAD diagram of the circuits that are specific to the fans, and this is where I am at the moment. So we've got the two fans here, they are earthed between them. We've got a temperature switch on the radiator, which is actually earthed over by the cooling fan. The positives for the two rads follow around and into some relays. Now you've got a relay for each fan, one left, one right. And we've also got an additional relay that when the aircon is running, the right-hand fan runs continuously just to make sure the car doesn't overheat. These then are connected to our fuse box. And from what I can see, the fuse box then is connected to this thing here, although I'm not quite sure what it is. There's no label on the actual wiring diagram, so I'm hoping it's just a connecting block, and if that's the case, it's probably a permanent live, because we've got the feed from the battery coming down to the starter motor. From there we've got a connection to the alternator and then a connection back to this component, whatever it should be here. So I think this is just a connector block for a permanent feed. So I'm going to see if I can find out where this is and see if I am actually getting power over here at the fuse box. Okay, so according to my wiring diagram, we've got the fuses on this side. It's these two here. We've got the left-hand radiator and the right-hand radiator. The fuses are okay. This one looks a little bit suspect, so I've swapped them over. This is the permanent feed coming in. It is actually switched on the ignition, so it's not actually permanent. And then these are the feeds that come out of here and onto the relays. Now, by jiggling the supply that's coming in, which is this one here, so you've got one power coming in, and then these three are jumpered, must be behind the fuse box. Now, when I turn the ignition on, I am getting the left-hand fan is coming on, but oddly, still nothing on the right. So the loose connection with the power coming into the fuse box seemed to sort out the power to that left-hand fan. The right-hand fan I'm still struggling with, so I've put another permanent feed from the battery straight to it, and as you can see, it's picking up and dropping out. It's just not happy at all. The earth is obviously working because it's connected to it now, but there you go, it's just stopped again. So it's not a happy fan. So I think with the two fans, I had two issues here. I think this one, or power to both of them, was an issue with a sort of dodgy connection in the fuse box, but that right-hand fan is not a happy fan, so I might have to pull that out and strip it down yet again. Okay, I really think it is probably time to see if it starts up. Now, obviously, I've only got the one cooling fan working, but here in the UK, it is towards the end of November, mid-November, so it's not that warm out there, so I don't have to worry too much about overheating. I still haven't repaired that horn from a couple of videos ago, but again, I think that's going to be okay. So, the ignition is on. We'll just allow the fuel pump just to make sure that the system is fully charged with fuel. And because it's been a couple of months, I think now, since I last ran the car, I'm going to give the throttle a couple of pumps just to make sure there's fuel in the system. And let's see. He's alive! Now I've still got the airbox off, so there's no air filter in it at the moment, just because if I've got to get back in there again, it's just easier for access. So I think let's get it out of the garage and take it for a bit of a drive. Well, I've got to say it's really nice to be in the car again. She's sounding fabulous, it feels great as well. Obviously we had a bit of smoke on the initial startup, but I'm going to put that down to sort of unburnt carbon build up in the cylinders where she hadn't been used. But she sounds and is pulling fantastic. Obviously I've still got the airbox off, but not sounding as she would normally. Just getting it up to temperature. Water sort of getting there. Oil's getting there as well. The oil gauge, the temperature gauge on the oil, along with the clock on these older 308s, is tucked down the right hand side between the steering column and the door. It's not actually that easy to read. I did sort that out with the later cars. My friend Colin's QV has got all of that in the centre console, so it's much easier to read. But we are getting there. But some people say that they struggle selecting, I think, second gear until the car is up to temperature. I must admit, I've never found that in this car. It's I've always managed to select all of the gears at all the time. But yeah, that sounded lovely. Really pleased with that. Really pleased. So I'm not going to know whether I've overcome this intermittent fault, because that comes about at higher speed after a longer journey when everything's up to temperature. I've been purposely keeping the fuel low in the tanks because just in case I've got to revisit that sock that's inside there, and if I've got to drain the tanks down, it's easier if I just keep it low. So I'm not going to go too far today. Well, that's just an excuse to take it out again. All right, so not fully warmed up, but probably as warm as she's going to get today, I think. So let's see. Oh! 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 Glorious! Oh, God, goodness, I just... Wow. Do you know what? This is not the fastest car in the world. You know, a hot hatch, a Tesla, much faster. But you know what? I just love the sound of this car. It just never gets old. Never gets old. Love it. Love it. Smiles per mile. So after a nice little run out, you can see then that that left-hand fan is working, and the right-hand fan just not even doing anything. So definitely got to do more investigation there. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching. As always, I do appreciate the likes, but particularly the comments. But until next time, cheerio.